Hey guys, what's up? It's Kev for the win. We're back for another edition of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Today we're taking a look at a longsword build. So we're going to be using Abysmal Flicker for our longsword here, but you could use any elemental one. Kaiser Crown X, Critical Eye, Critical Boost, Speed Sharpening. We're going to use Archfiend Armor Baloo, Weakness Exploit, Resentment, Chain Crit, Critical Eye, Quick Sheath. We're also going to use the Hawk Gloves, Speed Eating, Quick Sheath, Weakness Exploit, Critical Boost. We're going to be using Archfiend Armor Aura, Weakness Exploit, Chain Crit, Critical Eye here. We're going to be using Archfiend Armor Cerritos, Dereliction, Resentment, Critical Eye, Critical Boost here. We're going to use Absolute Pellets. You could use whatever you want. For a Talisman, we're going to use Earplugs level 3, which will give us also a slot for our Weakness Exploit. So we want here Anti-Dragon Jewel 2, 3 Grinder Jewels. For Archfiend Armor Blue, you want an Expert Jewel 2, a Sheath Jewel 2, Critical Jewel 2 here, Expert Jewel 2, Expert Jewel 2, 2 Critical Jewel 2s. And in the Talisman, an Expert Jewel 2. So let's show you a full breakdown of the skills and what the armor is going to look like when we put it all together now. So, as you can see, 355 attack, 24 dragon element, 15% affinity, 689 defense. We don't really like dragon or thunder. Everything else we pretty much resist pretty decently. As for the skills, I'll bring them up here in a second. We're going to be using Sacred Sheath combo a lot in this particular build to abuse certain things going on. So we have Critical Eye level 7, Critical Boost level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Quick Sheath level 3, Earplugs free, Speed Sharpening free, Chain Crit free, Resentment level 2. We also have Constitution 1, Speed Eating 1, and Dereliction 1, which we're going to abuse in this particular build. As you can see here, full breakdown, affinity plus 40%. Critical Boost anytime we deal damage with a critical hit, 40% affinity as well. Weakness Exploit, attacks that hit weak spots have 50% increased affinity. Basically, we're going to be hitting for maximum affinity on this particular build. Everything else that's in here is nice quality of life improvements. Chain Crit's going to be helpful here because we're going to be hitting with a lot of attacks here, which will increase the amount of elemental damage that we do. Everything else here, again, is just nice to have. Dereliction is very important because it increases the amount of stun potency as well as our attack. So we're always going to be switching to the blue scroll with this particular build. So for the purpose of this showcase, I'm going to demonstrate against a great Izuchi. We're going to be abusing our Power Sheath in particular here, because what we want to do is use that. We're going to be abusing Sakura Slash. You could play Longsword with the counter version of it. This is going to be more of a Sakura Slash build because there's some people, particularly even myself, that is not very proficient when it comes to longsword countering, and maybe you just want to do more DPS, damage per second, and be able to deal a lot of damage. So this is kind of the build for you guys here. I might cover a countering build in the future, but I feel like this particular one works pretty good. The only other one that would work better is the Archfiend Armor one, which I'll show off in a future video. Subsequently, you don't have to just use this longsword. This works with any elemental longsword build that you're using. So you could use fire, water, dragon, ice. Does not matter. The only thing that this build won't really work for too much for you is obviously with status effect things. So if you're using paralysis, blast, or sleep, or poison, none of those things will really be able to work with this particular build, at least to its full potential, because you won't be able to get the damage from Chain Crit, which is kind of unfortunate, but hey, it's a nice little sacrifice here. So we're mostly going to be using Elemental, and because Sakura Slash is really busted now, thanks to the buffs that they did to Elemental Dam, we should be able to do a tremendous amount. Okay, so the first thing you really want to do whenever you're fighting a monster is try to build up your Sakura Slash as quick as possible here. So we're going to attack here, we're going to build up our meter. When we get our meter to red, we're going to unleash our Sheath ability, which is going to do a tremendous amount of damage here. Let's go. Let's attack a couple of spots. Alright. So we got it to yellow. What we're going to do is we're going to time here effectively. See if we can build this to red. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to hold this in. We're going to get a little bit of a charge out. See how we did it there for 1,000 damage. That's one of the things that Longsword does really good with this particular variation of the build. Alright. So although we don't get to counter things, we do quite good job here. Let's see. Let's move out of the way. We could go Sakura Slash here. We probably will in a second. I think we're going to hit the monster. If not, we'll hit the little guy. It doesn't even matter at that point because we're still going to be able to do damage. Alright, we broke its face. Let's see if we hit there. We didn't get the full hit off here, but as you can see, that's still a tremendous amount of damage here. Let's swing. Let's move out of the way. Okay. I'm going to swing again. Just carefully position ourselves. Unfortunately, it went back up. We'll Sakura Slash when we build back up our Wire Bug. Alternatively, if you wanted to get more Wire Bug cooldown, you could go Wire Bug level 2. I don't feel like it works potentially that great for this particular build, because you could just wait for the cooldown. It's not that bad. You could still do damage per second. Alright, Sakura Slash here. This should get us to red if we hit. We do. And we secure the knockdown as well. That is because of the blue scroll. So we're going to charge up the sheep here. We're going to maximize it. We're going to swing. And as you see there, we did over 1,000 damage between the 3 hits that we did. Then you go back and pretty much lava, rinse, repeat. Sakura Slash, build back up the gauge as much as possible to red. And then you're just going to kind of concentrate all your power into that sheep attack and unload on it, and you'll be able to do a tremendous amount of damage. This works particularly well with the larger monsters in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, so keep that in mind. It's pretty good against little monsters as well. A very powerful build thanks to all the skills that we have here. People are probably wondering why we're not using focus, because we're not building our spirit gauge via mostly Sakura, not Sakura Slash, but via, you know, using our sheathing attack. So, alright, let's go here. Sakura Slash, we should get back into red. We're trying to secure a knockdown. When we not secure a knockdown, we'll go and use our quick sheep again. The reason why we're not using the sheep attack is because sometimes you'll have a hard time angling it. So you want to secure your knockdown usually before you go for it. Alright, let's see here. The monster, as you can see, is already in blue. We got a stun there. We might not actually be able to get one more sheaf off here, which is fine. We still could finish it off the old-fashioned way if we want to. Okay, let's move back a little. Whoop, got hit there. Gotta be careful. Sometimes you have to be careful because keep in mind with Dereliction builds, you are a glass cannon still. So if you get a little too aggressive. Alright, good. So we're gonna swing our sword once. We're gonna power up that charged sheaf attack. We're gonna completely unload it here. Let's see how much we hit for, and we hit for game there. So again, over 1,000 damage that you can hit with that. This works with any elemental longsword build that you use. It doesn't have to be dragon element, although I feel like the dragon element has quite a nice use to it in endgame because there's a lot of things that are weak to dragon, and it's just a pretty good, strong, nice pink sharpness weapon that's available in the endgame. But again, you could use any particular longsword element here. You could just pop in the build, and if you really wanted to, you could probably take out some of the brace that I'm using here and put in some elemental gems if you wanted to. But I still think it's kind of good and important to not have the stagger and everything of the sort. So definitely a very powerful build. I will show off the Archfiend armor variation of this, which does a little bit more damage, but I feel like the clear times are actually a little bit slower on it because that is still a very viable strategy for anybody who wants to have some elemental resistances, 5-piece bonuses, and everything of the sort. So it's still a very viable thing. And that was very, very fast clear time, as you can see. And that's pretty much what there is to a metagame, endgame build with Sakura Slash for the longsword. Next video that I'll be covering will be with the Charge Blade, so definitely make sure to look forward to that video after the Charge Blade. We're going to focus on the Lance, then the Gun Lance, and then the last weapon I have to focus on is the Hammer. And then we're going to be covering some regular pure set armors and seeing which ones are good and not. As you can see, 4 minutes and 26-second clear time there. As always, that's going to do it for today's video. Like on this video is greatly appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider doing so as it helps the channel grow. And I will see you for the next Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak video. Till next time, guys.